All right, guys, joining us right now on the Newsmaker line is one heck of a professional wrestler and guy that I've been trying to get on for a long period of time and just never had the luck to get him on. None other than David Flair. David, are you with us?
I'm with you. How you doing?
It's great to finally have you on the show, man. Big fan from your late 90s WCW run. It was great to finally get a chance to have you on the show. I tried calling you a few times in the mid-2000 period and just never was able to really hook up with you, so I'm glad we finally got you on the air.
Oh, good. How you doing?
Good, good. So what have you been up to these days? Your name has kind of been out of the news for a little while, so what's up? What's going on, and what is new in the life of David Flair?
Not much new, just married life, family life, and real world with a regular job.
Real world with a regular job. Do you mind if I ask what you do these days?
I work for a family business.
You work for a family business. Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. So you got a wife and kids, and that's an excellent thing. I mean, everybody seems to remember you as a kid, so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're actually, yeah. It's funny how time goes. I'm 30 years old now.
30?
I think when I started then, I was, so about 10 years ago.
Yep, and it was 10 years ago that you really burst on the scene in WCW, and, you were the U.S. champion, and you jumped on the scene, and you came on like a bat out of hell, I guess would be the phrase that I would use.
I wouldn't really use that. I wouldn't use that phrase. I'd say I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah, do you feel that maybe you were, let me ask you this. This is kind of what I've always said, because I've seen your work since WCW, and when you had a lot of time, I mean, you got really good. Do you think that maybe people unfairly judged your wrestling ability based on your WCW run?
Oh, I'm sure, because when you're at the, if you're on television, that means you've either paid your dues or you're an unseen wrestler, overseas or something like that. But I was neither. I was 19 years old, and they said, "Here, go in the ring and do this." So, usually people work the independents for a long time, or they wrestled abroad or something like that, and I did none of that. So I kind of learned backwards, or had to learn backwards. So, but I don't take any offense to it. I mean, just what happened.
Now, was there any resentment towards you because of getting put in the U.S. title picture almost right away?
Oh, I'm sure there was, but I didn't make those decisions, so
yeah.
So
it was out of your hands, right?
Yeah. So
now
what am I supposed to do?
Now you're one of many second-generation wrestlers. In fact, there's a stable based out of them right now. And
oh yeah.
What do you think separates you from guys like Randy Orton?
Oh, Randy Orton. He's unbelievable. I think some people have it better than others. For talent-wise, and I'm not afraid to say maybe definitely his level, but I also came in the wrong way. I wasn't groomed, and then then put on TV or anything like that. I was put on TV. Everything was backwards, and then maybe it just didn't work out, and I don't have any resentment at all, at all towards that at all. No bitterness. I mean, it is what it is. Good for Cody and good for Randy and good for, I think his name is Ted. Yeah, Ted DiBiase and all them guys. I mean, good for them. I'm glad they're able to do it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you teamed with your brother on occasion. Right now,
I have a few times. To try to, maybe not have him, have his weaknesses shown as fast. I'm not trying out there to get a job or anything like that. Just kind of protect him a little bit as far as, guys not taking advantage of him and things like that. So, we've done it a few times. It's been pretty fun.
So you think he's coming in, a better way than you did then with the
oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Going up the indie scene and all that.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no indie scene anymore, but trying to get some matches under his belt that he can.
Spot shows is actually all there is, really.
Yeah. I wouldn't say there's not an indie scene. There's an indie scene, but I should say territories to learn, I guess. So you just have to learn on all the indie shows that are out there, I guess.
Now, just a few weeks ago, you did a reunion of the one of my favorite things that you ever did was when you played basically a lunatic character yourself, Crowbar, Daffney. You guys did a reunion in New Jersey. How was it to get back together with those guys?
It was pretty fun. I hadn't seen Chris in a long time, and I've seen Shannon a few times, and it was cool. You know, it was cool seeing those guys. I didn't really want to do it, just not because, you know, not that I didn't want to do it. I really don't like to fly on airplanes and all that mess and all the busyness of, you know, flying into New Jersey or New York or, you know, whatever airport it may be. But, you know, it was fun. It was pretty cool. It was kind of just in and out, so it worked out good.
Very cool, very cool. Now, I've referenced this earlier on the show, and I'm going to reference it now. One of my favorite things you ever did in your entire career was the night that you basically played Jack Nicholson chasing around Kimberly Page and the Here's Johnny, and that was one of the more classic episodes of Nitro. And even a friend of mine who's not even a wrestling fan said that, well, David Flair's flipped a cog. I mean, you were doing that gimmick to a T. How did you enjoy that episode of Nitro?
Well, you had to refresh my memory of it. You know, I guess it was pretty cool, I guess, but, you know.
You were chasing around after Kimberly Page with a crowbar.
Yeah, no, I remember. I'm just saying, you know, it made me think about it. Yeah, I mean, it was, you know, I said that was fun being a 20-year-old kid and it'll be on TV and, you know, still not knowing what I was doing, you know, as far as the wrestling, but it was fun. It was fun.
Now, my co-host, Patrick, who's on the line with us right now, was referencing a memory that he has where you put Ric Flair in the figure 4 back then. Now, did they ever ask you to do anything you weren't quite comfortable with?
I wasn't comfortable because they just told me to do, you know, I just did what they wanted me to do or do, you know, not like force me to do it, but I'm just saying, you know, the best of the ability I could do and just went out there and did what they told you to do. So.
Well, one thing that I wanted to ask you, we were just talking about this on the air before you came on. We observed that a lot of second-generation wrestlers, when they come into the business, they try to emulate their fathers. But you kind of took a different route. You obviously played this more psychotic character and kind of got away from the nature boy thing. Was that something that you came up with, or was that something that WCW Creative came up with for you?
Oh, that's what the creative came up with. You know, it's just what they wanted me to do, so I did. I guess maybe to try to steer away from that, but I mean, it's kind of hard to live down who your dad is. Like, you know, it's kind of tough. I mean, look at Dustin. You know, Dustin Rhodes is a great wrestler, and you know, he was Dustin Rhodes for a long time, and then he came up with that own character himself, and you know, worked good for him for a long time. But I still think he's living in his dad's footsteps. We all do. You know, maybe Randy now, because Randy is just, you know, so above. You know, I mean, he's been champion so many times now and things like that. But Cody, I'm sure, you know, got to live up to it, and you know, all those guys, you know, I mean, all those guys' fathers were great wrestlers. So I'm sure they still probably have it in the back of their head. But, I mean, you're never going to live it down. There's just no way.
Now, towards the end of WCW, they did the angle with yourself and Stacy Keibler. How did you enjoy working with the good old Miss Hancock?
Well, it was fun. It was a good time, you know. Like I said, we all, you know, like Shannon and, you know, Stacy and I, we all kind of came at the same time. You know, we were young, and it was a good time. Good time.
Did we ever find out who was the father of that baby? I don't think we ever did.
No, I think the show would end, or, you know, I don't know who. I don't think I remember. Maybe it was Sean Stasiak or something like that. Maybe. I've seen
that. Now that you say that, I think they might have said that the baby ended up being pictures of Sean Stasiak. So I think you might be right about that.
Maybe I think that's what it was. And then a company, you know, was in such a turmoil at that time.
Did you ever think it was going to, you know, obviously you did come in '99 when things were starting to, you know, the bolts were starting to come out of the metal framework, and you were starting to see it kind of crumble. But did you ever think it would actually just close?
I don't know. You know, I don't know. I mean, it didn't close because it didn't have enough money. I don't think it was making any money. I mean, you know, Ted Turner didn't go out of business.
No, exactly.
I mean, he really didn't go out of business. They just sold it and shut it down. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they cut the budget so much, and then they cut the budget so much, and then they expected it to compete with WWE, and it's like, well, how's it not going to work?
I don't think they cut it then. I just think that, I mean, what's the name just don't want to put any more money into it. I mean, at one time it made a crap load of money, and then it wasn't making any money, and then he just sold it. So he sold the library and, you know, whatever else. I'm sure he sold it for more than what he paid for it, but I'm sure there, you know, definitely was a loss.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not out of business, you know. He still owns CNN, and think. I think he does. With the Atlanta Braves and everything else. I don't think he's hurting.
He's not exactly hurting. Well, I guess we all are, but not as bad as all that. So you made one WWE appearance that I recall, and it was just an incident with The Undertaker. Was there ever any hope from you at that point, or were you already kind of, I know you appeared for TNA after this, but you were hoping to get a spot?
I was really hoping there'd be more after that. I thought maybe I was getting close to being ready, but, I guess not. So nothing you can do. I'm not bitter at all towards it at all. I mean, you can't. I mean, especially when I was 25 years old, you can't just dwell on that your whole life. You got to move on.
Yeah. So you weren't really, you don't stay up at night thinking what could have been or anything crazy like that.
No, I think at one time I did. Why didn't I? I tried. I went overseas and tried to live as an independent wrestler, and not feasible. Not feasible.
Now you worked for TNA for a short period of time, and yourself and Brian Christopher.
Yeah, they first opened, and that was good. And then I went to Japan, and then I went to England for a little while. That was fun, and I tried. I was pretty steady, busy, but it's just too. I mean, kill your car, you load your car with miles, and going here sometimes you don't get paid. Just the independent scene, like all the other guys.
Seems like if you're not working for Vince, you're not making money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you're a wrestler who's been around.
Yeah.
An old Hall of Fame legend or, something like that. Large name. Those guys could probably make a decent living. Not someone who's 20 years old who needs to live the rest of their life. It's not possible.
Now, one of our mutual friends, a new friend of mine, but apparently an older friend of yours, is a guy named Dennis, who runs a promotion based out of Virginia and West Virginia. And he's been praising the hell out of you as a worker. He says that a match you had with one of our good friends at the show, just had him on a few weeks ago, was Al Snow. He says a match you had with Al Snow might have been one of the best matches he's ever seen.
Oh, yeah, Al Snow. I mean, he's a great wrestler. He obviously carried me through a good match. Yeah, I remember that match pretty well. He's a great wrestler. He's been around a long time. I mean, he's one of those guys who worked the Indies forever in a day, and then he finally got his break, Yep. Yep, that was a good time.
So even though the fire might not quite still burn inside you to make it to WWE, from what I understand, yourself and Reed as a tag team is pretty impressive. If the opportunity arose, would you even entertain the idea, or is it just so far out of your sights that you wouldn't even want to do it?
I don't know. I wouldn't say never say never, but I'm 30 years old. Those guys, those guys are coming in now are 20. Reed's 21. I guess I would. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I still like wrestling, and I watch it, every once in a while. But, I'd have to say for me, probably now.
Yeah, fire just doesn't quite seem to burn as much as it used to, then, does it?
No. I should say it does. I don't know. I guess I have mixed feelings. Probably not. I've got a good job, and I don't like being away from the kids. I don't like to fly, so probably not.
There you go. Is there anything left that you still really want to do in the wacky world of wrestling? Is there anything still left for you?
No. My main goal, I always wanted to go to Japan, which I got to do. That was like 3 4 before my son was born, so 2005 time frame. No, not really, man. I think I got to travel, see some nice places, meet nice people, and be around some great wrestlers and people. So I think I've pretty much accomplished or got out of wrestling. Got out of it. I got as much out of wrestling as I could, and obviously it was done. My time was my time to move on there. So.
Excellent. Well, before we let you go, can I just give you a couple word associations? Basically, if you have a one-word answer for this, that's great. If you have a story you'd like to tell, that's great too.
All
right. Let me give you the first name, and that is your good friend, let's say, from as a gift from the nWo, Tori Wilson.
Pretty girl. Nice, pretty girl.
How about Buff Bagwell?
Good guy. I wish they give him a chance again.
There's actually talk that they might, so I hope they do.
He's got a lot of charisma and looks good, and I think everyone deserves a second chance.
Hmm. How about actually the guy that you wrestled for the U.S. title, and unfortunately he's no longer with us, and we all know the tragedy that went along with that. How about Chris Benoit?
Oh man, a great person. Let alone side of whatever happened. I mean, good guy, and actually I knew Nancy very well, very, very well, prior to even knowing Chris when she was married to Kevin.
Yeah.
I was good friends with Kevin's son. Nancy was very nice as well, and things happen, I guess. But I have a lot of respect for Chris and Nancy both.
Alrighty, and I guess the one we have to close out with is well, I don't want to ask too much about him, but how about you got to mention it, the son of one of the greatest of all time, the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Let's give you your dad's name, Nature Boy Ric Flair.
The greatest wrestler of all time.
Excellent. All right, well, David, we said we wouldn't keep you on very long. I know this isn't something that you really like to do too much, but we really can't thank you enough for stopping by. And is there anything you'd like to promote, anything you'd like to talk about real quick or say to your fans?
Oh, man, just thanks for having me on the show.
All right, man. Well,
take care.
Anytime you do have something you'd like to talk about, please give us a call, and, keep in contact. It's great talking to you.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Take care. All right, and that was the son of the Nature Boy, David Flair, right here on the interactive interview, courtesy of WrestlingEpicenter.com. Are we all still here?
We are.
Very good, very good. So, what'd you guys think?
David's a cool guy.
Yeah, cool guy. Nice little interview.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a nice, fun interview, and there's nothing you could really say that's wrong to that. Unfortunately, he kind of did. I'll tell you guys a quick backstory of this, okay?
Okay.
You guys want a quick backstory of this interview? I was talking to a gentleman named Dennis who runs a company out of Virginia and West Virginia, and he's actually booking two guys through us. He's booking Val Venus and Jake the Snake Roberts. And I was talking to
Eric, are you on the line?
What?
Eric, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
Okay. So this guy was booking Jake the Snake Roberts and Val Venus through us, which WrestleBookings.com, if you don't know, you can check it out, and you can get many top guys for the show. And he was putting over David Flair, and I said, well, if you're such good friends with David, why don't you have him come on the radio show? And, unfortunately, he contacted David. David didn't want to do it, but the guy said, just do it for me as a favor. So he did it, and, you could tell maybe a little bit he didn't want to do it, but who can really say that they've had David Flair on the show, and father and son, both Bruno and David Sammartino, and Rick and David Flair. So, for history purposes,
now we
when everybody's looking,
Hogan.
I said we need to get Brooke Hogan. Yeah. Maybe Nick. We can get Nick on the phone as long as we don't get in the car with him. But yeah, I mean, for history purposes, when somebody's looking through our archives, to say that we had David Flair and Ric Flair on the show, to say that we had Bruno Sammartino and David Sammartino on the show, I mean, it's pretty damn cool.
Maybe we need to get Ted DiBiase Jr. or Brett DiBiase, wrestling the NWA on sometime.
We got Mike. I got Mike DiBiase's number, but he's currently wanted by the police. So.
Now, is Mike the one that everybody says is like a prodigy?
Yeah. But I've actually heard there is a problem that he looks so much like Ted Jr. that unless they're going to be in a tag team, WWE doesn't really want to call him up because then they'd be like, well, which one's this one?
So now, who is that now?
Brett DiBiase. Apparently, Ted DiBiase's the $1 Million Man's youngest son, but apparently he looks a lot like his brother. That there's kind of a fear that they just think it was Ted DiBiase whenever he came out.
That's true. But I got to tell you, Mike DiBiase, I've heard is the best of them, but unfortunately, he's also the one that has the most troubles.
Isn't he like 30 though?
What is this? Jesus Christ! All right, look, I'm about a month away from turning 28 years of age, and I wasn't feeling that too bad about that because everything on the news right now is talking about Medicare and all that stuff. I'm thinking, well, I'm 28, so I don't feel that old. Then I get on this show tonight, and David Flair's like, I'm 30. And and Eric comes in, well, he's 30. I mean, it's like,
well, yeah, I'm not saying no, I'm not attacking the age, but I'm saying if you're going to get started in the WWE or anything, the best age to do it is like 23, 24.
It is, but then again, who really has succeeded at that age as well? I mean, what's Punk's age?
Okay, let me name some of them. Rock, Triple H, Orton, Michaels, guys like that. You need Triple H was like 24 when he came in.
Triple H was 24 when he came in, and somehow he's...
Yeah.
Was he really? So, wait a minute. He came in what was it, 95?
Yeah.
And so I guess that does put him at nearly 40 now, doesn't it?
Hey, guess who needs to shut up? James Walsh. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, no, and hey, remember that guy? Remember that Rock guy, James? He was quite young when he came in.
How about Austin, though? Austin wasn't. He was
okay, but he's the exception that proves the rule. I'm saying, like a lot of these guys, you get them early, you build them in early. Michaels was, I want to say 21 when he came in.
I mean, Michaels was pretty young when he came in, but then again, he came along with...
They gave him a lot of time to grow.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
and that's why it's good to get him young, because, you know...
Yeah, you get him young, you establish him with the audience, and you do it that way. Then you have plenty of time. Hey, how about another little guy, Jeff Hardy? He came in when he was like 16.
How about here's the youngest of the bunch. The youngest superstar success story that we can possibly mention. I mean, this guy was a baby when he came in. Batista.
You're right, Batista, that young gun at the age of older than Triple H.
He's the future, man.
Jesus, yeah, that's the biggest look. Yeah, Triple H, yeah, he's not politicking there. He's the future. He's a year and a half older than I am.
This is Interactive Wrestling Radio.
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 Interactive Wrestling Radio. Oh, rush.
Featuring the interactive interview.
Interactive interview.
Interactive interview.
Interactive interview.
Interactive interview.
Interactive interview.
Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Formerly The Blaze.
The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze.
The Blaze.
The Blaze. The Blaze. The Blaze rock.
You're a maniac, so what you gonna do when a Blaze of Maniac runs wild on you?
On WrestlingEpicenter.com.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling
Epicenter.
The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And now we shamelessly name drop from our history.
The Wrestling Epicenter would like to apologize for the following.
All right, everybody. Viva la raza. Viva la raza.
Hey, y'all.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, guys. We had a lovely conversation. First lady. Absolutely. Oh, look at me. She's so kooky.
Be there. Where else?
Interactive Wrestling Radio. Wrestling
Epicenter.
Oh, my God. You win. Wow, being interactive.
Whoa.
I just got some mustache.
I was going to shoot him. Yeah, I almost missed my pants. Breaking neck. I got 2 words for you. I've heard a lot about you guys. Let's go. I see my language. You're going to go to the shop. Plenty of no.
No nerves.
That was great. It's going to be cool. Woo. What it's all about. Purest point of view.
The living legend.
Champion. Arrogant.
You're listening to me.
Instead of saying when I'm talking to you,
So lonely without you.
In the land of extreme.
Testify. Nevermore. Interactive interview.
I'm not just the best.
Interactive interview with a plastic
You
head.
earned the right.
Nobody. You better keep listening. Thank you very much. Controversy creates cash. Professional
Made
wrestling.
in the USA, baby.
Memphis wrestling. The guy on fire. I'm not going to talk to you, dummy.
We were sexy.
What a show.
One and only.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Wrestling
Epicenter. Interactive interview. We took care of the business. This isn't ballet. We are huge with this whole. You're where it's at. You better recognize who's the best. Make sure to tune in each and every week. I'll come out of your computer. Knock down your door and turn it on for you. Or else I'm going to kick your stinking teeth in. And that's the bottom line.
Have a nice day. It's showtime.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.